The day the Council saw humanity's hunter mode awaken. Fully final. 3 weeks had passed since the activation of Hunter Protocol, and the Galactic Council chamber had been transformed into something resembling a military command center. Displays showed real-time tracking of human hunter packs as they systematically swept through every corner of the galaxy, eliminating the last traces of the Ravager swarm. The mood in the chamber had evolved from panic to shock to something approaching awe as the delegates witnessed the sheer scope and efficiency of humanity's response. What they had thought would be a months-long campaign was nearing completion in less than a standard month. Final sweep operations are concluding, reported Admiral Chen over the main communication array. Hunter Pack 12 has sterilized the last confirmed Ravager installation in the Outer Rim. All units are now conducting verification sweeps to ensure complete elimination. High Counselor Mirtan's ethereal form had stabilized into colors that the translation matrix identified as profound contemplation, mixed with lingering disbelief. Admiral Chen, can you provide us with a final casualty report? Certainly, Counselor. Total Ravager entities eliminated. Approximately 14.7 million. Confirmed breeding facilities destroyed. 26. Research installations neutralized. 112. Support ships and mobile platforms eliminated. 843,000. The numbers hung in the air like a death sentence for an entire species. In less than a month, humanity had systematically hunted down and eliminated what had been considered the greatest threat in galactic history. And human casualties? Asked Ambassador Zethkar, his 6 eyes reflecting something between respect and fear. 47 humans killed in action, 112 wounded, 31 missing and presumed dead, Admiral Chen reported, with military precision. Total casualty rate of less than 0.1%. The chamber fell silent. An entire galactic threat that had terrorized 47 different civilizations had been eliminated by a species that had lost fewer than 200 individuals in the process. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood at her delegation table, but something had changed in her demeanor over the past 3 weeks. The predatory edge that had emerged during the crisis was slowly giving way to her normal diplomatic bearing. But traces of what the Council had witnessed still lingered. The hunt is nearly complete, she announced. Within the next 48 hours, Hunter Protocol will be deactivated, and all human military assets will return to their normal operations. Just like that? The Bulgarian representative's voice carried a note of incredulity. You mobilize your entire species for a galactic war, eliminate a threat that stumped our combined militaries, and then just return to normal? Dr. Vasquez answered from her position at the science station she had established during the crisis. The threat has been eliminated. Hunter Protocol serves no further purpose. Every human currently engaged in military operations will return to their previous roles. Scientists will return to their research. Traders will resume commerce. Diplomats will continue diplomatic work. But the power, pressed the Pyrosian ambassador, his flame flickering with confusion. You've just demonstrated military capability beyond anything we've ever seen. Most species would use that to establish dominance, claim territory, demand tribute. Colonel Webb, who had spent the past weeks coordinating with human military forces across the galaxy, looked up from his tactical displays with something resembling puzzlement. Why would we do that? We already have everything we want, a peaceful galaxy where our pack can thrive. Dominance over other species doesn't serve that goal. Your pack, repeated Mirtan slowly. You keep referring to the Council species as your pack. Chen nodded. From the moment humanity joined the Council, you became part of our extended family. Pack protection is one of humanity's strongest instincts. We don't protect our pack so we can rule over them. We protect them so they can be free to live their lives without threat. A soft chime indicated an incoming transmission. The display filled with an image that perfectly captured what humanity had accomplished over the past 3 weeks. It showed a human science vessel orbiting a world that had been completely stripped bare by the Ravager swarm. No life, no atmosphere, just a dead rock floating in space. This is Dr. Patel aboard the research vessel Renaissance, came the transmission. We've completed atmospheric reconstruction on the Kepler-7 colony world. Preliminary ecosystem seeding is beginning now. The image shifted to show human ships deploying what appeared to be massive atmospheric processors and biological seeding pods toward the dead planet. We're not just eliminating the Ravagers, Dr. Vasquez explained to the stunned delegates. We're reversing the damage they caused. Every world they stripped will be restored. Every ecosystem they destroyed will be rebuilt. That's impossible, breathed the Aquarian delegate. Planetary restoration on that scale would take centuries and resources that dwarf entire star systems. For most species, yes, Chen agreed. But humans have been modifying planetary environments since before we left our homeworld. We've also been preparing restoration protocols for the past 3 years, just in case something like this happened. Ambassador Zethkar leaned forward, his expression intense. You've been preparing to repair entire worlds for 3 years? How could you possibly have anticipated this specific threat? Colonel Webb answered matter-of-factly. We didn't anticipate the Ravager swarm specifically. We prepared for any threat that might cause widespread planetary damage. Human contingency planning tends to be very comprehensive enough to restore 17 dead worlds. The crystalline collective representative's geometric form shifted into patterns that indicated severe confusion. Comprehensive enough to restore every world in the galaxy if necessary, Dr. Vasquez replied. Humans don't make plans for partial solutions. When we prepare for planetary restoration, we prepare to restore all planets that might need it. The transmission from Dr. Patel continued, showing time-lapse imagery of the dead world, beginning to show signs of atmospheric development. Clouds were forming in what had been empty sky, and the first traces of blue were beginning to appear where there had been only the black of space. How long will complete restoration take? Asked Mirtan. For Kepler-7, approximately 18 standard months until the ecosystem is self-sustaining. Another 6 months until it's ready for recolonization, Dr. Patel reported. We're using accelerated terraforming techniques that compress natural ecosystem development by a factor of several thousand. You're talking about technology that's generations ahead of anything in the Council databases, the Etherian counselor observed. Technology we developed specifically for pack protection scenarios, Chen explained. Humans have always understood that true security means being able to recover from any possible disaster. We don't just prepare to defeat threats. We prepare to rebuild everything those threats might destroy. Another transmission came through. This one showing multiple human fleets throughout the galaxy. But instead of the predatory hunting formations they had witnessed during the combat phase, the ships were now arranged in what appeared to be massive construction and restoration operations. This is Admiral Rodriguez, of the Reconstruction Fleet, came the new transmission, reporting successful completion of infrastructure restoration in the Centauri Trade Hub. All stations are now operational and ready for normal commerce. Moving to the next site on the priority list. You have a separate fleet for reconstruction? Zethkar's voice carried a note of amazement. Webb nodded. Humans plan for complete operations. Hunter packs eliminate threats. Science Corps studies and sterilizes dangerous materials. Reconstruction fleets rebuild damaged infrastructure, and restoration teams repair ecological damage. Every aspect of threat response is covered. And after all this is complete? Asked the Bulgarian representative. After all this is complete, the galaxy returns to normal, Chen said simply. Except now every species in the Council has seen what happens when someone threatens our pack. We're hoping that knowledge will serve as a deterrent to future threats. The chamber fell into contemplative silence as the delegates absorbed the full scope of what they had witnessed. Humanity had not only eliminated what might have been the greatest threat in galactic history, but they were now systematically repairing all the damage that threat had caused. Ambassador Chen, Mirtan said slowly, I need to ask a question that I believe is on every delegate's mind. Given what we've witnessed over the past 3 weeks, what assurance do the Council species have that humanity won't someday decide we are the threat that needs to be eliminated? Chen turned to face the High Counselor directly, and her expression was serious but not threatening. Counselor, in the 3 years since we joined the Council, have we ever shown territorial ambition? Have we ever demanded resources we weren't willing to trade for? Have we ever used force to settle disputes? Have we ever shown any indication that we see other species as anything but valued pack members? No, Mirtan admitted. You have been model citizens in every respect. That's because humans form very strong pack bonds, Dr. Vasquez explained. Once you're part of our pack, harming you becomes literally unthinkable for us. It would be like asking us to hunt our own children. But what if there's a disagreement between council species? Pressed Zethkar. What if one member attacks another? Whose side do humans take? Webb answered with the confidence of someone who had clearly thought through this scenario many times. Humans mediate pack disputes. We don't take sides. We find solutions that protect all pack members. It's what we've been doing for the past 3 years every time there's been a council crisis. And if mediation fails, then we separate the combatants and keep them separated until they're ready to resolve their differences peacefully, Chen replied. But we don't eliminate pack members. We protect them from each other, if necessary, but we don't hunt our own pack. A priority alert flashed on the communication array, and Admiral Chen's voice filled the chamber one final time. This is Admiral Chen reporting completion of all Hunter Protocol operations. Total mission success achieved. All Ravager presence has been eliminated from the galaxy. Reconstruction and restoration operations are proceeding on schedule. Requesting permission to deactivate Hunter Protocol. Sarah Chen stood and activated her personal communicator. Admiral Chen. This is Ambassador Chen. You have authorization to deactivate Hunter Protocol effective immediately. Thank you for your service. Acknowledged, Ambassador. Hunter Protocol is now deactivated. All military assets are returning to normal operations. It's been an honor to serve the pack. Around the galaxy, something extraordinary began to happen. The millions of humans who had responded to the Hunter Protocol call began transforming back into the peaceful, productive members of galactic society they had been before the crisis. Scientists returned to their research. Traders resumed their commerce routes. Artists went back to their studios, and diplomats continued their negotiations. That's it? Asked the Aquarian delegate. No victory celebrations? No demands for recognition? No territorial claims? Chen smiled. And this time, it was the warm, diplomatic expression the Council had known for 3 years. The pack is safe. That's all the recognition we need. Dr. Vasquez began shutting down her military displays and returning to her normal scientific equipment. Humans don't celebrate the elimination of threats. We celebrate when the pack is thriving. Right now, with the Ravager threat eliminated and restoration efforts underway, the pack is going to thrive like never before. So what happens now? Asked Mirtan. Now we return to the normal business of the Council, Chen replied. I believe there was a trade dispute between the Zephyrian colonies and the Outer Rim merchants that we were supposed to mediate next week. And Dr. Vasquez has been working on a collaborative research project with the Etherian Science Institute that should be resumed. And if another existential threat emerges? Zethkar's question carried undertones of both hope and wariness. Chen's expression became serious for a moment. Then Hunter Protocol activates again, and we eliminate that threat too. But we're hoping that won't be necessary. Word tends to spread quickly in the galaxy when an entire species gets completely eradicated. Hopefully, any future hostile forces will decide that picking a fight with the Council isn't worth the risk. Colonel Webb was already packing up his tactical equipment. The most effective deterrent to future threats is the knowledge that attacking the Council means dealing with humanity in full hunter mode. Most hostile species prefer targets that can't fight back effectively. So this was all a demonstration? The Pyrosian ambassador seemed almost offended by the idea. No, Chen replied firmly. This was pack protection. The demonstration was just a side effect. But now, every species in this region of the galaxy knows that the Council isn't just a collection of individual civilizations. It's a pack under human protection. As the delegates began to process the full implications of what they had witnessed, one final transmission came through. This time it showed a restored planet, green, blue, and white, with cities beginning to be rebuilt and ships arriving with colonists ready to resume their lives. This is Colony Director Martinez, reporting successful completion of restoration operations on New Geneva, came the transmission. The planet is ready for full recolonization. Estimated population capacity: 12 million beings. All species, welcome. The chamber looked at the image of a world that had been completely dead just 3 weeks earlier, now restored to full habitability and ready to support millions of lives. "How many worlds will you restore?" asked Mirtan. "All of them," Dr. Vasquez answered simply. "Every world the Ravagers damaged will be restored to full habitability. Every ecosystem they destroyed will be rebuilt. Every life they took will be honored by ensuring that life flourishes again where they brought death. That's the human way," Chen added. "We don't just eliminate threats. We make sure those threats leave the galaxy better than they found it." As the council session began to wind down, the delegates realized they were witnessing something unprecedented in galactic history. Not just the elimination of an existential threat, but the emergence of a new paradigm for galactic civilization. The galaxy now had a protector species, one that asked for nothing in return except the right to consider everyone part of their extended pack. And as the past 3 weeks had demonstrated, threatening that pack was the last mistake any hostile force would ever make. Ambassador Chen gathered her materials, preparing to return to the normal diplomatic routine that had been interrupted by the crisis. "If there are no further questions, I believe we can adjourn this emergency session and return to normal council business." "Just one more question," Zethkar said quietly. "Are there any other protocols we should know about? Any other aspects of human nature that might surprise us in the future?" Chen paused and exchanged glances with her colleagues. For a moment, something flickered in their expressions, a hint of depths that even the past 3 weeks hadn't fully revealed. "Humans have many protocols," she said carefully. "Hunter protocol is just what activates when the pack is threatened. But you don't need to worry about the others. Those only activate in much more extreme circumstances." "What could be more extreme than an existential threat to the entire galaxy?" asked Mirtan. Chen smiled, and for just a moment, the delegates glimpsed something in that smile that suggested the Ravager swarm had only seen a fraction of what humanity was capable of when truly motivated. "Let's hope you never have to find out," she said softly. As the delegates filed out of the chamber, returning to their homeworlds with reports that would reshape how their species viewed both humanity and their place in the galaxy, one truth had become crystal clear: the galaxy was under new management. And that management had just demonstrated that it took pack protection very, very seriously.